My collection has changed a lot over the last year, and in this new series, I'm going to take you on a journey through my entire collection, one section at a time. And in today's video, we're going to talk about and take a look at the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo 3DS collection. One of the things that I hope you all can get out of this video is to learn about DS and 3DS games that maybe you've never heard of, or games that I can recommend to you for your own collection. Now, before we get into the numbers and the details of this collection and start talking about individual games, let me kind of give you my background and journey with both the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo 3DS. So I bought the Nintendo DS when it first came out, and I was pretty young when it first came out. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I know I was in my first job, and I actually bought the DS with my own money, which felt pretty good. That might have been the first handheld that I ever bought with my own money, and I remember being blown away by the console, having two different screens, one of which being a touch screen on the bottom, being able to have that clamshell fold-up design, having a really good sleep mode. It really blew me away. Now, even though I loved the Nintendo DS, I only really played the first party games, kind of the staples, which we're going to talk about a few of those here in just a little bit. So there's a lot of the DS library that I never got to experience, and that's what I'm trying to do now as I slowly build my DS collection. I'm trying to find these games that I never got to play back in the day, because the Nintendo DS has an incredible library of games. Now, the Nintendo 3DS, I also bought on launch day and was just as blown away as I was with the DS, because the idea of being able to play games with 3D without using glasses, even though it was depth 3D, was pretty incredible. That was something that was just unheard of, and to experience that for the first time was pretty incredible. Now, to experience that for the first time was pretty incredible, but the novelty did wear off pretty quick. But the 3DS also had an incredible library of games, and I remember I actually played the 3DS for the first time on my wedding day before going to the church to get married for the ceremony. Me, Devin, as a matter of fact, and my good buddy Greg were in my old room, and we were playing around with the 3DS doing the AR games, and it was a lot of fun. So I have very fond memories of the 3DS, but just like with the DS, I only played the first party staples, which again, we're going to talk about some of those in just a minute. So a vast majority of the 3DS library I completely missed out on. So just like with the Nintendo DS, I'm trying to build up that library of 3DS games so I can experience some of these amazing games that I missed. So let's kind of talk about the numbers here, and then I'll start talking about some of the individual games in the collection. In the Nintendo DS collection, I have 20 games, 16 of which are complete in box, and 4 have no manual. The total estimated value for my DS collection at the time of this recording is $460. Now, in the 3DS collection, I only have 13 games, 7 of them are complete in box, 6 are no manual, and at the time of this recording, my 3DS collection has an estimated value of $260. Now let me show you what are the 5 most expensive games in the DS collection and the 5 most expensive games in the 3DS collection, and then we'll start talking about some of the individual games. Let's quickly go over the 5 most expensive Nintendo DS games in my collection and the 5 most expensive Nintendo 3DS games in my collection. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these prices are at the time of this recording from price charting. By the time you watch this video, these prices will likely be up or down. And I'm also going to go in order from least expensive of the 5 to most expensive. So let's talk about the first DS game. Zelda Phantom Hourglass is worth around $33, and this one is complete in box. Beautiful Joe Double Trouble is worth around $35. This is complete in box. Kirby Superstar Ultra worth around $36, complete in box. Complete in box Metroid Prime Hunters worth around $30. $37. And the most expensive DS game in my collection, it is complete in box, and it is Rhythm Heaven, worth around $50. Now for the Nintendo 3DS, from least expensive to most expensive, we have Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. This copy is no manual and is worth around $20. Terraria, this copy is complete and it is worth around $29. Metroid Samus Returns, this copy is complete and it is worth around $31. Luigi's Mansion, this copy is no manual and worth around $38. And the most expensive 3DS game in my collection is Shinobi. This copy is complete and it is worth around $39. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through each game one game at a time, and I'll have a little bit to say about each game. We're going to start with the Nintendo DS games, then we're going to go to the 3DS games. Now again, a lot of these DS games I've actually never played because I missed out on a lot of the DS library. So these are games that I've picked up that I want to play, I just haven't had a chance to yet, but let's go ahead and start going through these. Mushroom Men Rise of the Fun Guy. Now, Marcello from GameCube Galaxy actually picked this up for me at Really Rad Weekend after I had already left. I sent him money, he picked it up for me brand new for 20 bucks. Now, the reason I wanted this game is because I have Mushroom Men on the Wii, which is a fantastic hidden gem on the Wii, and there's a DS version, and I've always wanted to get it and check it out, even though I've heard it has pretty bad reviews, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it is on my radar. Mario vs. Donkey Kong Mini Land Mayhem. This is a puzzle game, and I actually have played a little bit of this game, and it is a lot of fun. It's a really good puzzle game, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and play all the way through it, but I definitely will do that one day because I love puzzle games and I love the gameplay mechanics and style of this one. Beautiful Joe Double Trouble. I've actually played and beat the first Beautiful Joe game on the GameCube, and I played a little bit of the second one, so I'm a big fan of the series, and I had no idea until last year that there was a DS Beautiful Joe game, and while I haven't had a chance to play it yet, I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out and seeing what they do with the 2-screen setup on the DS. The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. I really like this Zelda game. You control it basically with the touchscreen, so it's a very unique control scheme, and you might be asking yourself, how the hell does that work? Well, somehow they made it work. It does take a little getting used to, and I would only recommend playing in short sessions because it can get uncomfortable, but this is a great Zelda game, and I recommend playing it, especially if you're a fan of the series. WarioWare Touched. WarioWare games are a blast, and obviously being able to utilize 2 screens on the DS with the bottom screen being the touch screen, you can only imagine the wacky micro games that they came up with for this one. So if you're a fan of the WarioWare series and you like these micro game style, mini game style games, you're definitely going to want to check out WarioWare Touched. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I've actually never played a Mario and Sonic game before. I know there's some on the Wii. I think there might be one on the Wii U. Then we've got this one on the DS. There might even be a 3DS one. I'm not sure, but I've never actually played a game in the series, so you have to let me know in the comments down below if these games are pretty good. I know it's basically like mini game style sports games, but I've always heard that they're pretty decent, so I'll have to check this one out at some point. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. This is part of the Mario and Luigi RPG series. I love all of the Mario and Luigi games. They're absolutely hilarious, funny dialogue, interesting stories, interesting and fun characters. The gameplay is a blast, and this is coming from somebody that's generally not a RPG fan, but I love these games. The legendary Starfy. This is kind of a hidden gem on the DS. Nobody ever talks about this game, and it was published by Nintendo. It is a 2D platformer where you play as this little character named Starfy, and it's actually a pretty fun game. I recommend checking it out. Super Mario 64 DS. I believe this is the first Nintendo DS game I ever played. I highly recommend playing this game using the thumbstick, whether it's the thumbstick attachment, and I'm talking about on the 3DS. I recommend playing this on the 3DS with the thumbstick or the thumbstick attachment, because playing it on the DS using the touchscreen as a thumbstick is pretty challenging. But this is cool because they add 3 more playable characters to the game. They add new content to Super Mario 64. This is a game that I would love to see re-released on the Switch. That would be really cool. Mario Kart DS, fantastic Mario game. What else can I say? If you're a fan of the Mario Kart series and you're looking for a good portable Mario Kart game, you can't go wrong with Mario Kart DS. Scribblenauts. I have played a Scribblenauts game before, and it is a very unique game. It can be a lot of fun, but I've never actually played the DS version, so I'll have to check that out at some point. Drawn to Life SpongeBob SquarePants Edition. Again, I've never played a Drawn to Life game before. I picked this up for a couple bucks $8 at a flea market, so I figured why not. I'll have to check this one out at some point. SpongeBob SquarePants Atlantic SquarePants. This is a SpongeBob game I've never played. Got it super cheap at a flea market for a couple of bucks, so I figured why not. Let me know in the comments if this is a pretty decent SpongeBob game. Brain Age. This is a Nintendo published and I believe a Nintendo developed game as well, and it's basically just a bunch of logic games and puzzle games to help increase your brain, and we all know that I need some brain increasing, don't I? But it's a pretty fun game. Animal Crossing Wild World. This is a good Animal Crossing game, and you can play it on the DS. It has touchscreen utilization. If you're a fan of the Animal Crossing series, then this is definitely one to check out. I had a lot of fun with this game. Sonic Colors. I haven't actually played this on the DS yet, but I've heard that both the Wii version and the DS version are actually pretty decent, so I'll have to check it out. Rhythm Heaven. I actually just started playing this game a few weeks ago. It's a rhythm minigame based game, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's very quirky and unique. I'm really enjoying it so far. The Simpsons game, the Nintendo DS version. I've heard that the Wii and PS2 version is really fun. I've never actually played that or the DS version, and the DS version looks pretty cool as well, so I'll have to check it out at some point. Kirby Superstar Ultra. This is a Kirby game I've never actually played before, and I feel like this might be a revamped version of the Super Nintendo game. Let me know in the comments if that's right or not. Metroid Prime Hunters. I have dabbled with this game a little bit, but I've never really sat down to dedicate any serious time to it. But a lot of people swear by this game. It has a single player mode, it has multiplayer. It's definitely a game I want to sit down and dig into, especially being a huge fan of the Metroid Prime series. New Super Mario Bros. Another one of the first Nintendo DS games I've ever played. I've played and beat this game I think twice. It's a great 2D Super Mario Bros. Game, and at the time it was very unique and different. Now I think it's time for Nintendo to come out with a new 2D version of Mario, but this is a great game, so every DS owner should own this in their library. And finally, I've got 3 of the Professor Layton games on the DS, being Professor Layton and the Curious Village, Professor Layton and the Unwound Future, and Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. Now, I've actually beat Professor Layton and the Curious Village. It is a mystery game. They're all 3 mystery games. Fantastic story, and the way you play through the game is you play a bunch of logic games and puzzle games. It's sort of like a point and click adventure game with logic and puzzle games mixed in as you weave your way through the narrative and solve the mystery. I really enjoyed Professor Layton and the Curious Village, and I'm actually on my way through Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box, and then eventually I'll play Professor Layton and the Unwound Future. But if you like point and click adventure games, if you like story-based narrative games, if you like games with puzzles and logic-based puzzle games, you're gonna love this series. Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS. I did play quite a bit of this, although I did not play as much as the Wii and the Wii U version, because it's a little hard to play a Smash Bros. Game on a handheld, but it was pretty cool to see a Smash Bros. Game come to a handheld for the first time, and it's still a very valid version to play. Super Mario 3D Land. This is one of the first 3DS games that I played, and it is a fantastic 3D platformer, and it makes great use of the depth of field 3D effect on the 3DS. Scribblenauts Unlimited. This is the only Scribblenauts game that I've actually ever played through and beat, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very unique game. It's kind of hard to explain. You just type in the name of an object and it shows up in the game world, and then you can utilize it in various ways to solve these different puzzles and scenarios. So if you're looking for a quirky and unique game, I recommend checking it out. Mario Kart 7. This, in my opinion, is the best of all the portable Mario Kart games. It's fantastic. It runs and looks amazing on the 3DS, so I highly recommend it if you're looking for the best portable Mario Kart experience outside of the Switch version, of course, of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario & Luigi Dream Team, another entry in the Mario & Luigi RPG series. I never did beat this one, but I played a good probably 5 hours of it, and I was really enjoying what I was playing. Just like all the Mario & Luigi games, the writing is hilarious, the story's crazy, it's full of crazy characters, and the gameplay is magnificent. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. I played through and beat this game when it first came out, and it is a phenomenal Zelda game. Sort of a sequel or spiritual successor to A Link to the Past. Has fantastic gameplay mechanics, and it's just incredibly unique. So if you're a fan of the Zelda series, this is a must-own game and a must-play for the Nintendo 3DS. Animal Crossing New Leaf. I mean, what else can I say? It's Animal Crossing. It's a great Animal Crossing game. There really are no bad Animal Crossing games in my opinion, and this is a great entry in the series on the 3DS, especially with the 3D effect. Adventure Time. Hey Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage? This game is great. This is definitely a hidden gem on the 3DS. It's a game nobody ever talks about. I'm a huge fan of the Adventure Time series, and this is a 2D action-adventure game that is directly inspired by Zelda 2 Adventure of the Link on the NES. It plays almost identical to that game. It's fantastic. So if you have a 3DS, do yourself a favor and pick up this little gem. Shinobi. I've heard this is a really good game. It's the most expensive game in my 3DS collection. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and play it yet. If you've played it, let me know in the comments down below if it's worth checking out. The 3DS version of the original Luigi's Mansion. I have actually not had a chance to play this version yet. I've played and beat the GameCube game multiple times, but have not played this one yet. I'm very curious to see how it looks with the 3D effect and see how it plays on the 3DS and see if they utilize the touchscreen in unique ways. So definitely going to play through this at some point. Metroid Samus Returns. This is one of the few 2D Metroid games that I have not played yet. From what I understand, this is a remake of Metroid 2 Return of Samus, or a reimagining of it, and I love the 2D Metroid games, and this is one that I'm gonna play in the very near future. It's on my radar. Terraria. Terraria is actually one of my favorite games of all time. I have put into the PC version and the Xbox 360 version and the Switch version, I have put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game. I've never played the 3DS version. I might actually check it out at some point. It could be pretty fun, and I'm curious to see how they use the touchscreen. But in my opinion, the PC version is the best way to play Terraria. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. This is an unpopular opinion, but I do not like Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is my least favorite 3D Zelda game ever. I don't like it. I don't like the time mechanic. It completely turns me off the entire game. With that being said, I think I will check out the 3DS version at some point with the hopes that they've done something to make it better. Sorry folks, I'm just not a fan of this Zelda game. I just really don't like it. Well, there you have it, folks. That is today's collection update on the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo 3DS. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this collection? Also, let me know in the comments down below if there are any games that you recommend that I add to my own DS or Nintendo 3DS collection.